How's it going, everybody? It's Royalty Crypto here, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about one of the best layer 1 blockchains in my opinion, that being Internet Computer, aka ICP, and I wanted to explain why I believe the narrative behind this project could cause this coin to have a fantastic bull run in 2026. I also wanted to talk about why I believe we have had quite a bit of green in the market for crypto today. And before we get into all of that, guys, this is a brand new YouTube channel, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could smash that like and subscribe button because it keeps me motivated to keep bringing you guys daily crypto content. With all that being said, let's take a look at the crypto market. So as you guys can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at above $88,000 yet again, as we are up over 3% in the past 24 hours, and Solana and Ethereum are showing quite a bit of strength today as they are up over 5.5%. Now, the reason that I believe we are getting this bullish momentum returning into the market today is because the Bank of Japan officially hiked their rates late last night. If you were watching my videos earlier this week, I predicted that this would end up being a sell the rumor, buy the news event. The reason for that is because this was fully priced in. I believe it was at a 98% likelihood on basically every prediction market. So this did not come as a surprise whatsoever, and I actually think that smart money ended up buying up everybody else's fear as they realized that the fear surrounding the Japanese carry trade was a bit overblown, and I do agree with that. So now that the Bank of Japan has officially decided to hike their rates by a 25 basis point, I just hope that financial markets can stop worrying about this event. And of course, if there is one less thing to worry about for Bitcoin and crypto, it is better for the short to medium term. But all right, let's go ahead and take a look at Internet Computer. As I mentioned before, ICP is a layer 1 blockchain and it has an emphasis on privacy and AI. And the good thing about that is privacy and AI have been the two hottest narratives in crypto in the past couple of months, and I do believe that that will continue to be the case going into 2026. So if there is an altcoin season, you can reasonably expect ICP to have a fantastic pump, and I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if it ends up returning to its highs that it hit back in 2024, as it did get to about $15 per coin back then. I think that that could be easily achievable for ICP. In fact, I think it does have the potential to go much higher. Now, if this project ends up being one of the hottest layer 1s in the space, and we do go into, an overall euphoric time for altcoins, I could see ICP getting to as high as a $100 billion market cap, but I think a more realistic target for this cycle would be somewhere between a $30 to $50 billion market cap. So if we were to hit a $50 billion market cap from this price target, that would be about a 30x on your money, and that would be around a $90 ICP if we did end up getting to those levels. Now, of course, guys, I believe it is very important to sell on the way up because you never know how high these coins could actually get. It is always possible that we could pump back up to around the $15 range and end up getting rejected off of those levels. But if you guys are watching my videos, I will keep you updated with different important indicators to watch, and I'll be letting you guys know when I personally start to take profits on these coins. But of course, that is not financial advice, and it is very important to do your own research outside of my videos alone. Now, do I think it is a good time to be accumulating ICP? I actually do think it is a fantastic time to be buying, and I have multiple reasons for that. The first reason is the fact that we are currently sitting at yearly lows down here at $2.90. Just about a month ago, this coin was sitting at $2.90, and we had a V-shaped recovery all the way up to $9. The reason for that is because the privacy narrative really started to heat up in crypto, and that is because we saw an insane pump on Zcash, and Zcash is a layer 1 that has a very similar narrative to ICP. So these coins can move very quickly, but I think the risk to reward buying down here at the yearly lows is actually giving a fantastic potential opportunity. Also, guys, as you can see, the crypto fear and greed index remains in basically extreme fear levels, and we've been in extreme fear levels for the past month and a half or so. Whenever we are this low on the fear and greed index, I believe it is a fantastic time to be accumulating strong altcoins like ICP, especially if you're willing to hold it for about the next 6 to 12 months. Historically, when we are at these levels, we end up having a sharp recovery, kind of like what we saw in April of 2025, where the price of Bitcoin went from $82,000 when we were at the extreme fear levels all the way up to around $125,000 per coin, just about 6 months after we were in those levels of fear. So I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happens where Bitcoin actually does end up going from around $85,000 where we are right now to potentially as high as 150 to 170,000 sometime in 2026. And of course, if Bitcoin has another leg up, especially if it's a somewhat parabolic leg up, that is when I can reasonably expect that we can have a parabolic bull run for altcoins like ICP. Also, guys, we have so many positive catalysts coming in the short to medium term for not just crypto, but all financial markets. For example, we just started quantitative easing just a few days ago, and I do believe that once this liquidity slowly but surely returns to markets, it will cause crypto to go on a pretty insane rally. We also are likely going to continue to cut the federal funds rate, which is of course very beneficial for risk on assets. And we also have stimulus checks coming to the economy next year in 2026. So in my opinion, guys, now is not the time to be bearish like everybody else on crypto Twitter and YouTube. It is actually the time to be bullish and accumulating these strong projects. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin, because as I mentioned earlier, there will not be an altcoin season unless Bitcoin does well. So even if you're not holding Bitcoin, you should still be watching the chart very closely. What I'm showing you guys here is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. If you're unfamiliar of what this is showing, it actually shows different levels where people are trading Bitcoin, longing or shorting on leverage. And what that means is if the price of Bitcoin goes above their liquidation price, they are forced to sell their entire position because they are trading on essentially a crypto loan. So as you can see on this chart, there is not very much long leverage sitting beneath Bitcoin at these levels. However, we have an absurd amount of short leverage sitting above us at the moment. Whenever the Bitcoin liquidation heat map is this unbalanced, it makes me feel like Bitcoin is going to move in the direction where it can possibly liquidate a lot of people. And in this case, that would be Bitcoin moving to the upside. As you can see here, we have a ton of people that would be getting liquidated between the prices of $94,000 to $98,000. So once we do get to those levels, it is highly likely that we will end up seeing a short squeeze for Bitcoin, which means that we could move from 94 to 100K in basically no time. And not just that, we have quite a bit of leverage between 100K to 110K, and then we have a ton of leverage sitting from 110K to about 118,000. So we could yet again see another short squeeze for Bitcoin. And last but not least, we also have a ton of potential liquidations up here at the all-time high price for Bitcoin. So with that being said, guys, now is not the time to be bearish, because the price of Bitcoin could theoretically start to liquidate all of these people and sharply move to the upside, and this could happen very, very quickly. Like, it could potentially happen in a matter of a week. It really does not take much to move the price of Bitcoin, especially with all of these potential short liquidations. So you can't be sure that it's just going to be a slow grind to the upside and that you're going to have time to get in whenever the market starts to seem like it's getting hot. It might not work that way, guys. We could end up seeing a V-shaped recovery for Bitcoin back to the upside as soon as we have any sort of bullish momentum return to the market. So definitely keep your eyes on this chart. I believe that this is very important. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope that you all have a fantastic Friday night and a great weekend. I most likely will not be making a video tomorrow, but I will be back on Sunday, so I'll be talking to you guys then. Peace.